Well, a very good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you might be in the world. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the channel if you're new to the channel, or welcome back if you're a returning visitor. If you are new, then you probably won't know. I'm Anna. Lorena's Labyrinth is my baby. I try and share information and content with you, and I invite you to communicate back with me. Say g'day, let me know where you're from. Before we go into today's yarning, I hope it's not going to be too long, but just a reminder that I do put the chapter descriptions, whatever it is, the timing, so you can click and jump from one slide to the next to your areas of interest. And I do that across all of the videos that I make. What do I need to talk to you about? Oh, I remember now. So just a reminder, I'm actually recording this a day early today. I'm getting myself a bit more organised, but more specifically, the original agenda was that I would get a lot of content up this week to sort of cover, well, basically to cover everything and allow me some space, because I've got family coming over, of course, family commitment. Most of my family lives interstate now, and my son's arriving in Perth this week. And I thought, okay, so if I can get on top of it all, I will be available. But I had forgotten one key factor for what's happening tomorrow. I'll talk about that in a moment. But either way, where I'm going with this is I'm doing a lot of the video recording up front and loading it. And thank God for that, honestly, because I've had nothing but technological issues over the last 24 hours. I think I've come good with it. But anyway, on with today's yarning. Beyond the fact, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Hoping that you will find something useful today. So here, of course, is what I forgot is happening tomorrow. I was so caught up in doing my thing that I just didn't even realise until just before that it's actually Mother's Day tomorrow. So by the time you actually watch this video, Mother's Day will have been and gone, in which case I hope that you have had a wonderful day with your family. I hope you did manage to get breakfast in bed. There's something lovely about having small children, actually, when they do this kind of thing, and they make you feel valued and cared. And I think it's that one day of the year where mums actually get to really feel appreciated. Now, of course, I'm talking in a perfect world, and I hope that's your world, but we can't dispute the fact it's not everybody's. And having worked in women's refuges, with women that are basically on the peripherals of society that feel abandoned by their families and their children, it sort of behooves me, I guess, to remind people that, you know what, you're not alone. There's actually a lot of people out there in that situation. If you're one of them, to me, it actually looks like we're going through some kind of social crisis, and have been for about the last 10 or 20 years. But if you're on your own, hold faith. Cheer yourself up. I hope this will be more cheering to you. There's a book here that you might find value of that speaks about societal and cultural values, and I guess this is the pressures and the stereotypes that mothers feel. And so when we have this family breakdown as adults, it can be quite difficult for the mums, at least, to actually get through. I mean, I'm sure it's difficult for the dads as well, but it is Mother's Day, so I want to put the focus on that for today. Now, the other thing, this is sort of my humour as well. I'm the same as everybody else. I have my own challenges too, but at least I know some tools to rush to. So the other week, for example, I had a bit of an injured feelings, boohoo, feeling sorry for myself. I was feeling a bit rejected and abandoned by my children, or one of them actually. And you got to have a sense of humour about these things. And I was sitting out there thinking, I've got enough crystals in this house. I should be able to find one that actually makes me feel better. So I ran to my sodalite, and I sat with that for a little while. And then I realised that actually I needed another crystal, which is rhodonite, because I had some rhodonite, which, as I'm recording this, I don't have that image of rhodonite on this slide. But you know what? I'm going to put it on this slide. Okay, because I think it's really actually, it's worth giving a shot. I'm not going to talk about rhodonite too much now. I'll talk about it maybe another time and what my experience was. But what I was going to say is that sodalite is actually, I've noticed a lot of mothers that are going through a lot of suffering, and where there's family breakdown and they're carrying some guilt, they seem to be drawn to sodalite. And so I recommend it to people because I believe it helps them to develop new ways of looking, at their situations, and to release guilt, to forgive themselves, because all of us are doing the best that we can with what we've got, it's not always good enough for those people around us. Anyway, I'll move on from that because there's other more interesting content to talk about. We don't need to focus too much on the sad and sorry. And that's because we actually have some big stuff happening energetically. We're coming into a full moon on May the 13th. So I don't know what it's like for people in the Northern Hemisphere. Here in Perth, Western Australia, May 13th, we've got a full moon. And the flower moon, it comes into effect on the 12th, apparently. So if you're interested in full moons because you've got crystals and you want to put them out, okay, 13th is the day. If you're interested in the energetic influences upon you, it starts on the 12th. Now, just to put this into perspective, what I saw was that a flower moon in Scorpio, that's what we're coming into, is apparently associated with sensuality, seductiveness and sensualness, all of that kind of stuff. So for those people that are at that stage in their lives, I mean, that may actually have great relevance to them. It could be new romance or whatever. I'm not so sure about that, but I'm a bit older, okay? So what I do agree with from what I've seen is that when we're coming into a Scorpio moon, given that I'm not an astrologist, but I do feel that I understand certain aspects of energy, shall we say, and even the lunar cycle really, is that we're coming into an emotional stage. With Scorpio, they are very, very emotional. The energy of Scorpio is very deep emotional opportunities for learning emotional self-mastery, because this is one of the challenges for the Scorpio as well. So that's going to carry over to the rest of us. Now, we could look at that and go, okay, well, there might be a couple of challenges associated for us there from an emotional perspective, and that might be true as well. But the other thing is to I think actually take into account, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. I've got my transcript here as always, but I've deviated from it. Anyway, look, the point being that a full moon is about transformation. The flower moon especially is about transformation and change, okay? And let me just check my notes. Transformation and growth, right? So that is change. That's evolution. So when we combine that with the fact that it's in Scorpio, this is a hugely transformative change time frame that allows us to focus on that emotional stuff. So if you're down in the doldrums, for reasons that I've mentioned, say, family, perhaps you've got family breakdown or whatever, there is a real opportunity to revise how we're approaching and how we're seeing the world over the next month and to make it more positive for us. My advice would be basically that change always, in my experience, is not always comfortable. Okay, sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable, shall we say, and the key will be to release resistance to that change and to just trust the process. This is where that business of go with the flow comes in, and just remind yourself that you can master this. And there are strategies and techniques. If you start to feel emotionally overwhelmed, basically do some spiritual hygiene or go outside and center and ground. Now, having spoken of that, let's move on to something else. I do have some news because I do have crystal developments happening, because I've been negotiating with overseas suppliers of crystals. And I will talk about that in the future. But for now, I guess the focus of information for me to share with you, which I hope that you will enjoy, is actually largely crystal related and what I've got here at home at the moment that you might be interested in. Now, before I start showing you some of these items that I would love to share with you, let's all just take a moment to remind ourselves that I am not a photographer. I'm not a videographer either, and apparently at this point in time, they are not skills, but they're definitely opportunities for growth and expansion over the next month, funnily enough. So what I've got here is an image of what is called Mangano Calcite. The reason I've included this is because this is one of my, light bulb moments. In fact, over the last couple of weeks, I had a visitor over who was rifling through the remnants of my old collection that I've got. which I don't even look at half the time these days, which is probably pretty poor. But anyway, she was rifling through it, and she's come up with the darker pink rock, and she held it up to me. Now, I had this on a video. I thought I'd captured this on video, but it turns out I haven't. I've only got some really bad photographs, and this is the best of it. But anyway, she's held this up to me, and it is actually a specimen of Mangano Calcite. And she's said the, well, what's this? And I've looked at it, my jaw hit the floor, and it actually took my breath away for a moment because, one, I'd forgotten I had it. Two, I forgot how beautiful it is. Photo doesn't do it justice. And I said to her, oh my goodness, as you do, that is Mangano Calcite. And I said, I'd forgotten I had that. And she's looking at me with this expectant look, like obviously there's something on my mind. And I said, well, I've just realised now that you've held this out, I've gone and bought tumbled crystals. I've got tumbled stones of Mangano Calcite, and they are so poor in colour in comparison to that specimen that I've got that I assumed it was low grade. Actually, at the time we were having the conversation, I thought, I've bought this from a reputable and verifiable supplier, and they're just super poor quality. Anyway, the bottom line is they're not poor quality, they're just pale, because that's the reality of buying crystals. Sometimes they have a depth of colour, and sometimes they're very light and pale. And in reality, as I say, I don't doctor the photos, and I haven't colour enhanced them or anything like that. The pink calcite, the darker one, is actually a fuchsite pink colour, so the photo's not doing it justice. And the tumbles that come up here looking a bit white, they are actually a very pale pink. Now, I don't know if I just don't know how to use my photographic box thing with the light up the top at the moment. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, that I'm not taking good photographs. But anyway, maybe I will do another video over the next couple of weeks. But I forgot to mention, part of the reason for me doing this today is because I'm doing a video on another pink crystal, which actually I'm not going to tell you about it because it's a surprise, but it's quite often mistaken for Mangano pink calcite. So that sort of prompted me to do the photographs anyway, because I will include photographs like this when I do that video. I'm being a bit cagey because I've got something to show you. You're going to see it now. It's these. It really is. Okay, so this is my hesitation, but not my hesitation, all right? This is just another example of my poor quality photography. Feel free to clap hands or have a good laugh. But basically what we've got here is rainbow fluorite. So I've bought quite a bit of rainbow fluorite that has arrived over the last week or so. And one of the things that I happen to see, this is what I love about my supplier, is she will often have the camera on and be showing me different things and talking to me, because she's got all of her product there. And she was picking up some towers, some little obelisks, can't even speak at the moment, but she was showing me some, and out the corner of the camera I actually saw what is called feather fluorite, and this is these little towers here, the cluster of them. So I ordered some of those as well. Now I just thought that you would like to have a look at that and see why it's called feather fluorite. Actually, it's called feather fluorite. Now, of course, these videos aren't turning around and spinning as I would like them to as I talk to this particular slide. So hopefully you will see as it turns around that I have managed to capture on this that there is white feathering in there, which I think is absolutely stunning. I think it's beautiful. And hopefully you will see when you're looking at these, because they are rainbow fluorites as well, but they've just got feathering in them. The image on the left, of course, is a very pretty specimen of rainbow fluorite. I should acknowledge that one. But hopefully what you're seeing is that whole business of no two crystals are exactly the same. They are varied. They're various in the shading. They're various or different in the colours and the way they band. And I just want to make the point that that one with the blue point at the top, blue fluorite, is actually the rarest. So that is a particularly stunning piece of feather fluorite. Hopefully you can see it, and I've done them justice. Now, before we move on to the next video, I must give you forewarning. Okay, this is a particularly bad video. but it's the only one that I've got of it, and I'm including it because I spoke about it in the Rainbow Fluorite video, and I mentioned that I would show it to people because I actually am thinking about keeping this one for me permanently because it's just so different and unique. It arrives, so give you some advance warning. The reason why this is so bad is because I'm actually trying to focus on specific parts of this tower that I've got so that you can actually see it and understand what I'm saying, that it's still rainbow fluorite, but it just is very different. I'll show you now. You've been warned. Try not to choke. So I hope you can see. I mean, look, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, okay? What one person thinks is beautiful, somebody else is going to think is ugly. I mean, with this to start with, as you see it turning around on this wheel, you're going to see there's an inclusion in it, which looks like a bit of dirt from when it was being formed, because it's naturally forming. Just so you know, this entire tower is smooth on the outside. There is no damage to it. Anything that you see is just the natural inclusions and the way it's formed. Now, what I liked about this, okay, for me, I don't know if I've managed to capture it. You might have to replay the slide a couple of times, mute my voice if you feel the need to, but it's kind of like green, fluffy scalloping, and it's got white on the edges. And I actually have never seen the fluorite in this way, where it's got these distinct, almost clear versus the green. Oh, anyway, I can't speak too much about it. Okay, I just really love it, and if I haven't been able to capture it and do it justice, that's a real shame. This might be another one that I get my friend to actually, when she comes over, because she's a better camera woman than I am, we might try and work together to get something that actually really shows the greens on this, because when I'm looking at this now, what I can see of it, it looks a bit grey and dirty looking, where it's actually not. It's got some really beautiful, vivid lime greens with the white. So it's almost a cross with the feather fluorite as well. So I guess enough of talking about the crystals that I've got here at home at the moment, and let's just talk about, for now, the reminder that it's coming to that time of the month again. The second Wednesday of every month is when we do the tarot crystal and tea night, okay, which is a free event for those people that live locally in Perth, Western Australia. So just a reminder, we've got it on this Wednesday. It starts at 6:30. I will bring along some product for you to check out and find out whether or not it's the stuff that you like. I mean, if you want to buy some, of course you can. There'll be no issue with that. What was I going to say? If you want me to bring something specifically and you're going to be at the event, let me know. I know that there's one person that wants me to bring along some tiger eye. I forgot to mention I've got some tiger eye towers now as well. Anyway, moving on from that. Yes, all are welcome. It's a free event, remember. Numbers are limited, and you can get tickets by visiting Eventbrite, because I have to obviously capture the numbers. It's not just a case of turn up, because we've only got so many seats. But anyway, I hope that I'm going to see you there. If you've been before, you will have my phone number, I hope. Otherwise, I've got business cards and I'll give them to you. But anyway, I'm excited. I'll see you on Wednesday, local people. So to try and keep the video short, okay, so channel update is, yes, I am working on the content. I am trying to get ahead of myself, and that's the intention going forward as well, that I'll at least have them loaded. It's not just a case of me wanting to get it done because I like to be organised. It's actually because I'm finding that if I put things off, there is always some delay. That case of, don't leave it till the last minute, because the unexpected is bound to happen. So for me yesterday, I think I had to record the rainbow fluorite video about 3 times. It was a nightmare. It took me about 5 hours to put together because I was having glitches with the app that I make them on. So anyway, yeah, that's basically it. If there's something that you want me to speak about specifically, a crystal, if you want me to do some research on it or see if I can get it, or find a verifiable supplier, let me know, because I'm more than happy to take a look and see what I can find, okay? So last week, you will have seen Serpentine go up. Last week? Yes, this week, the week that's just gone. The Serpentine video was loaded. Obviously, that's one that I really like. It's a local crystal anyway. The Tiger Iron video, that went up as well, and thank God for Glenn, who gave me information to make sure that the content was accurate, because of course Glenn mines it as well. So just doing a mention here and letting people know that I don't get paid to promote him, but I'm happy to make mention of the fact, because of course he goes and gets it out the ground, so to speak. Gemstone Geeks website, so it's gemstonegeeks.com if you want to buy some Tiger Iron or Serpentine or any of the other incredible West Australian crystals. He's got quite a good stock there. Most of it he exports, but you can check out his website. I mean, he's even got some Australian rhodonite there. Speaking of rhodonite, I cannot forget to put that rhodonite up so people can see it on that Mother's Day slide. Moving on. So thankfully, I've managed to get the Smoky Quartz video all recorded now. It's been loaded, ready to be published on Tuesday. Now, if you notice anything wrong with the audio, can you please let me know, because this is where I've run into a bit of trouble. I've been trying to do some audio enhancement and balancing, and it backfired on me, shall we say. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to come out, but feel free to actually let me know if I need to fix anything, okay? I welcome comments. So anyway, Smoky Quartz will be published on Tuesday. So obviously rainbow fluorite I've mentioned a number of times in here. Look, I've got to say both Smoky Quartz and rainbow fluorite I consider to be very valuable pieces of any metaphysical worker's collection, and neither of them are hard to access. But anyway, this video is now scheduled for Thursday. It was originally scheduled for Tuesday, but because of the dramas I was having, I decided, you know what, I'm going to put Smoky Quartz up, continue to work on the rainbow fluorite. Hopefully the audio on this one is okay, because these are the ones that I've started to play with the audio on, and I just won't know until you tell me whether or not it's worked. So just a reminder, of course, we've got the different playlists for everybody's taste, if you like. Hopefully we have. For those people who might be experiencing some emotional challenges over the next month or so, especially because we've got the full moon and the flower moon, we do have the health and well-being playlists, and it might be worth going through and having a look at those. I have got the metaphysical stuff like chakra balancing, which I do actually recommend. I created a chakra tool many years ago, and feedback has been that it's quite positive and helpful for balancing and removing blockages and that. But then, because I've got the Bachelor of Social Work and the mental health stuff behind me, I have done some evidence-based stuff, tips and strategies and techniques to help a person develop awareness around what's going on internally for them, and as part of identifying and managing triggers and reactions. So that's in there as well, and I clearly outline what is the evidence-based and what's metaphysical. But I have to put in this disclaimer here as well, basically because I am a professional. When it comes to evidence-based, when we talk about the fact that, oh yes, science says that this therapy will work with that, evidence changes. So we can't turn around. I made these videos 12 months ago. My resource materials may have been 5 years or older. So if you find something that's interesting, then do your own research and make sure that things haven't changed, because what might have been fine 5 years ago, new evidence might turn around and say, well, actually it's not as effective as we thought it was. There's a better treatment available, things like that. Okay, so just use your own discernment and discretion. I am so excited. This is the first time I've been able to do a video for under, I think, 30 minutes for a while. So thank God for that. What I'm going to do now, though, is say, hey, look, thank you so much for being part of my journey. Do please say good day to me, say hello. If you like the content, if you find it useful, please give us a thumbs up. If you really like it, and no obligation, do consider subscribing, because that would be appreciated. Anyway, I am going to say thank you, love you, leave you, catch you on the next video. Take care of yourselves. If you're in Perth, I really hope that I see you on Wednesday. All right, take care, see you soon. Bye bye for now.